From WXXI News, this is Connections. I'm Evan Dawson. Our connection this hour was made over the last week with some of the biggest stories to touch our community. From national, state, to local news, our WXXI and city teams covered it all. And during this hour, we're highlighting that work and what you need to know to stay informed and engaged. Last Saturday was the Best of Rochester Awards. The annual contest run by City Magazine brought 400 people out to Anthology on a snowy night. And we're going to talk to the city team about how it all went. And we're going to play a little bit of game to test your Rochester knowledge and have some fun to close the hour. Before that, we're going to be talking to WXXI's Brian Sharp about some of the news surrounding Wegmans that you might have heard, how the grocery store chain is using biometric data in some of its stores. Brian will be here to talk about that. But first, certainly what a lot of people are thinking about. Hundreds of people turned out in Irondequoit last night to protest the deadly shooting of a woman in Minneapolis by an ICE agent. It was one of many protests across the nation. WXXI Investigations and City Hall reporter Gino Finelli was in Irondequoit last night for that, and Gino is with me now. Thank you for being with us, Gino. How many people would you say were out there last night?
I would say about 600-700. It was a pretty sizable crowd.
As cliche as the question is, describe the mood, describe the scene.
People are angry. I think that protest, very civil, very pretty well organized on short notice. No fireworks or anything like that happening. But talking with a lot of protesters out there and a lot of the organizers out there, people are very worried about the direction that the country is heading. And ICE seems like kind of the central point that kind of exemplifies a lot of the issues that they see happening in this country right now, of concerns about civil liberties, concerns about the approach to immigration enforcement, concerns about whether the law enforcement on the federal level is becoming militarized and what that might look like and how that will affect people. And then this idea that came up a lot was whether or not the death of Renee Nicole Good, the shooting by ICE in Minneapolis, was something that was surprising to people. And the sad reality for a lot of them was no. It was really a foregone conclusion that something like this was going to happen eventually during this administration's immigration crackdown. And now it's the big fear of what comes next. Do things get worse or do things get better?
I think we can show you some of the video shot by our colleague Katie Epner of WXXI as hundreds of participants lined Pattonwood Drive near the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Rochester Border Patrol Station as well. If you're watching on YouTube, I think we can share that with you as well. And, there you go. So I think you're going to feel some of the anger that Gino is talking about there. Justice for Renee, they're chanting. And in various places across the country, Gino, the chants were not just justice for Renee. This is not true everywhere, but there were some chants calling for retribution against Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem for what she has said this week, or other kinds of violence. My sense is if there is any sort of escalation in violence, it's not going to sort of end well for anybody here. What do you see?
I think that there's multiple layers to that. I think if there is retaliation by people against immigration enforcement as a result of things like this, it does feel like to me the direction of this administration, that's kind of what they want, is that any kind of violent retribution will be taken as an excuse to keep accelerating an agenda that's already in place. But a lot of the arguments that I've also heard are that agenda is going to be accelerated no matter what happens. Whether people lie down and take it or whether they react, it doesn't matter so far as whether or not the administration is going to continue doing what it's doing. It just matters whether or not they're given more excuses to do it. Or for the base that supports these kinds of actions, and I've seen quite a few comments of people still supporting ICE as following this shooting and, saying that this woman was a terrorist, that she got what she deserved, things like that. I don't think you can change people like that's mindset, no matter what happens, no matter how blatant it is. There's a good portion of this country right now that is very dead set that no matter what these federal law enforcement agencies do, they are justified. And that's because they're underneath a leader that they believe is justified in anything they do. So the point being that no matter what kind of retaliation happens, it's I think that you could argue very reasonably that that's going to be used as an excuse to progress martial law, more militarization, more sending in of the National Guard. But there's also very, very clear arguments that that was going to happen anyway.
Well, look, I think in tense situations where we're learning hour by hour, and we have a lot of different views of the shooting. This is not 2004. This is not 1980. This is not a case where someone gets shot and we have a few bystanders having an account, and then you get the police report and you don't have video evidence. We have video evidence from multiple angles. I was shocked at how quickly the White House made a declaration that the shooting was justified. And that is not me saying the shooting wasn't justified or was. That is me saying every police department I've ever covered in our community, in West Virginia where I worked previously, currently, when one of your officers discharges their weapon and somebody dies, there's an investigation. There is a careful process to examine the actions of the officer who shot, because an American is dead. And the idea that within minutes, you know that the shooter is a hero and that the woman was a terrorist and that she was trying to run over and kill people and that this was a heroic act by an ICE agent acting in an act of patriotism is absurd. There is not a police department in the country that would, I would hope, support that swift a declaration. At the very best, what you ought to say is, we support our agents, but we're going to investigate. We don't want anyone to end up dead. We don't exactly know what happened. We know there's video. We're going to review everything. And we're not going to put out a statement until we are confident we know absolutely everything about what happened. It was remarkable that it went down this way.
This is a thing where I've watched the video, the multiple angles of the video, and I won't sit here and make a call of whether it's. I have my own personal feelings on it, but like, it's not even worth getting into that. It's more that you're right. I think this was a craven exercise in what this administration does, where you pick a narrative and you stick to it, no matter what the evidence of your eyes and ears tell you. And if you repeat it enough and you continue saying it enough, like the kind of rhetoric that got us in this whole situation with the escalation of ICE to begin with, that there's a migrant crime wave coming to the country and killing and raping people, you just have to stick to that rhetoric. And it doesn't matter if the people that aren't on your side disagree with you or don't believe you or don't buy it, because it's not for them. It is for the people that are of the diehard base that are still there. And they are waiting to be told what to think about this. No matter what was shown in that video, if the White House was going to say it was justified, the people that are on the side of this administration were going to believe it's justified, no matter what that video showed. So long as the narrative was set by this president. And that's the reality of it. So you're right. This isn't a matter of deciding whether or not it was justified and I'm saying it wasn't and the president is saying it was. It is a matter of seemingly before the president even watched the video, he determined it was justified. That's not based on evidence. That's not based on an investigation. That's not based on proof or police protocol or any kind of constitutional rules that surround how ICE is supposed to operate. It is based on rhetoric and narrative. And under this administration, what ICE is doing is it's almost like a mandate of God that no matter what they do, they are righteous and patriotic and morally justified. And you don't need to see the video. You don't need to see what happens. You don't need to hear the granular details of what led up to that shooting. All you need to know is that ICE are patriots and they're the good guys and what they do is justified. And that is the rhetoric that they're sticking with.
I would have expected online talking heads to say that. Not the vice president, not the president.
Well, look at an administration that has online talking heads in the cabinet.
I want to listen to, you got a clip of sound from last night. I think Reverend Myra Brown was there. And we've got some sound from from the event last night. Let's listen.
This should never have happened. This should stop us all in our tracks. If they can come for Renee Nicole Good, they can come for you and me.
That's Reverend Myra Brown at the event in Irondequoit last night. And before we let Gino Finelli go, I just want to mention a couple things about this. My goal is always to take the temperature down and try to just have sober conversation, even about hard things. And we're going to do that in the days to come. We're going to try to have conversations about this that add something beyond all of the noise that there is. And we're going to try to be thoughtful about how to do that. And I know people are angry. But again, if you are calling me or emailing me right now saying she should have just listened to the officer, you got to understand two things. Number one, there is evidence that one of the officers on the scene was telling her to get out, as in drive away, and the other was telling her to get out of the car. One was saying get out of here, one was saying get out of your car. She had two different things she was hearing, from what I can understand about it. Again, the reporting, I'm still trying to get the full picture. But then the other part is, it is one thing to say, listen to officers and you're going to be okay. Okay, that's advice you can give people. But that is not an evaluation of the proper conduct or not of the people who are armed agents of the state. There are reasons that police are very careful in investigating when their own members discharge their weapons. There's reasons that they have protocol for, if we're going to shoot, do we shoot to kill? Because a lot of people are like, well, shoot them in the leg. Well, it's been explained many times why they don't do that. They have to shoot to kill if they perceive a threat. They have protocol for whether they shoot into a vehicle, if that vehicle is moving. There's a reason that this stuff takes time to investigate. Give it time. Give yourself time. And if anybody has certainty within 5 seconds, ask yourself what the agenda is. We got to be better than this. We got to be better than this. There's a demonstration in Geneva tonight at 5 o'clock outside Geneva City Hall. I suspect there will be more, Gino Finelli.
Oh, I'm sure. This weekend, I think this isn't going away.
No.
This is going to be a situation that will simmer for quite a while. We may see it escalate. We may see it de-escalate. It might come in waves, but this isn't going away anytime soon.
Thanks for coming in. Thanks
Yeah.
for working late last night.
Happy New Year, everyone.
That's Gino Finelli, covering the story for WXXI News. We're going to take a brief break. Welcome my colleague Brian Sharp on the other side of this break.
In today's media environment, you have a lot of power. You can make a direct impact on your community by powering this public radio station with your monthly sustaining membership. Right now, what matters the most is your participation. Please start or increase your monthly donation.
This is Connections. I'm Evan Dawson, and glad to have my colleague Brian Sharp from WXXI News here. He's Investigations and Enterprise Editor for WXXI News, and a big talker story this week. Wegmans is responding to reports about the use of biometric data in some of its stores where the stores have facial recognition cameras. Yeah, this is one of those stories that had a lot of people talking, and I'm not going to anoint you the expert of all things biometric. You've been learning just like everybody else this week.
Yeah, no, and that's I was, as I've posted on social media, I was one of these who was like, okay, aren't we being surveilled and looked at and whatever
aren't there
everywhere?
cameras everywhere? Yeah.
And so, and I just kept thinking, and so then I called. Finally, I was like, I'm just going to called over to RIT, and they're like, yeah, we got a guy. And so talked to him, and after about a half an hour, I was like, okay, now I'm sort of getting on the borderline paranoid about this. But to quickly add, it's not just Wegmans. It's I think Home Depot, Walmart, who else? Target, I think, has been sued. You go on to then, if you really want to go down rabbit holes, go to whatever chain store you frequent and check out their privacy policy, and you'll see all the information that they're collecting, which is a little unnerving, I guess.
I have to admit, so I was kind of where you were initially. Not that my personal view matters here, but I think sometimes people are very, very guarded, and sometimes people think, look, there's cameras everywhere. What's the big deal? What started to kind of clinch it for me was hearing some of your conversation with Jonathan Weissman,
Yeah.
who is principal lecturer in cybersecurity at RIT. And we got a couple of cuts we're going to listen to here, but correct me if I'm wrong here. Part of the issue is this is not like, you lost a credit card this is different, right?
Right. Yeah, and sort of what he was getting at is that retail and other folks have been collecting this data for a long time, and it's a case where, like he was using the example, once they have this, and Wegmans says they keep it for a short amount of time, then they dump it. It's really you collect the information, you compare it against a known database of people who've created problems in their stores for one reason or another, shoplifting, etc. If there's a match, boom, security knows they're there, and then according to them, if they're not, they dump it. But what he's saying is that you collect this information, you create a database that becomes a target for hackers, and then they get this information, and that doesn't change as you get older. So maybe there's nothing, but there's increasingly these systems that use authentication for you to get in, and so 5-10 years from now, those are still your fingerprints, that's still your face, that's still your biometrics.
So let's listen to some of what Weissman had to say. The first is what biometric data actually is. Let's listen to that.
If your password is stolen, you can change it. If your credit card is stolen, get a new one. If your biometric data is stolen, you can't get a new face and you can't get new hands. These are permanent identifiers of yourself that, if compromised, will always be there. Can't be changed.
Okay. And then, given that, why Weissman thinks this is a concern. Let's listen.
A great concern is how these biometrics are being stored. For a company to collect all of these data points on you that will basically be keys to your identity, how are these keys to your identity, how are these master keys being stored? Once cyber criminals know that companies are storing such identifiers, these databases become targets of attack. If cyber criminals get a hold of your biometrics, they can pass those biometrics to systems for authentication and convince those systems that they're you.
Okay, so, not great.
Right.
That's what maybe started to change your view. You feel a little
at one
unnerved.
point I said, well, now I'm starting to get paranoid. And he said, that's my job.
Well, I mean, he
was only half joking.
Half joking about that. But so tell people what Wegmans has said, essentially.
So Wegmans has said, and they have deployed this first. So this all came up because they posted signs in a couple stores in New York City, Brooklyn, Manhattan, saying that they were collecting this data. And so that got the attention of Gothamist and then others. And then when we reached out to them, there was sort of a standard statement, and they said, well, it's a small fraction of our stores across a small number of states. But to their point, they're not going to say, well, we're collecting at this store, but not at that store, because if you're a shoplifter, then okay, which store not to hit. But and they say they meet and they gave me the alphabet soup of protocols that they adhere to. But the one thing Weissman was saying is that you also have companies that are not, Wegmans and others, that are not experts in cybersecurity, who are now getting into this space that deals with data. And they deal with, like he was mentioning, they deal with your, other numbers, your credit card numbers, et cetera. But you can change those if there is a breach. And when it comes to biometrics, it was, and he says this, again, this is nothing new. Office of Personnel Management, U.S. government, got hacked 10 years ago, millions of fingerprint files stolen. And, what's become of those? There hasn't been a real documented case, but the use of, again, that authentication is becoming more commonplace to where then these particular files maybe become more valuable.
To be clear, the law is different in different places, and I know a number of our audience have asked, well, why doesn't Wegmans have to tell you where this is happening? And if you're in New York City, it's a different situation.
Right. New York City, they have a law that says this has to be shared. And this is where I started, again, going down rabbit holes. Illinois, I think, was one of the first states to put in a law. There's laws in California and elsewhere. New York State, there's been a proposal which the city could put in a regulation of some kind similar to New York City if they wanted to. We talked to the city council president. He said it's surfaced, but I don't know that right now it is top of mind. It could be becoming top of mind. We've asked if the mayor's interested and not heard back. So they have the ability to do so, but so far haven't gotten there.
Okay. Other responses from lawmakers. What are people saying?
I think the New York New York State proposal that I saw goes as far as outright banning it. And then there's other variations to get at regulating and transparency. But again, it's one of these things where it's been around for a long time, and that's, I think, the thing that Wiseman would say is that the thing is that cases like this just bring it to people's attention. But that collection has been happening. If you go to Walmart, I think it's Walmart or Home Depot, their disclosure about this is extensive in terms of what all they collect and what they do with it. And so you have facial recognition, you have voice capture, you have fingerprint capture, you can go to stores and use your fingerprint or handprint to purchase things. There's I think one of the stores I looked at said, well, if you're in our parking lot, be aware we're capturing images of you and we have license plate readers. And so people know it's down to a point where some stores, if you walk in their store, they know you are there.
That's the next part that I find confusing. If they know you are there and they know about you, the argument that I'm seeing online goes like this. It's not just about looking for shoplifters. Now it's about dynamic pricing. Now it's about figuring out that Brian Sharp is in my store. And Brian, as a well-heeled journalist, making all the fabulous wealth of journalism, can afford to pay higher.
Is over at the clearance aisle.
can afford to pay higher for the Skittles and Cheerios that you're buying. And we're going to use that information to, when Brian gets rung up, it's higher prices. Is that sort of science fiction for as far as we can tell?
I mean, I don't know. I've heard that as well. You still shop. If for me, I look at like what's the price, what's the per unit price. I compare it, so I have an idea of what I'm going to be shelling out when I get to the register. I've heard other avenues though. It's like, well, we can, because product placement is key. We can track if we have a demographic that we want to track, we can see of this demographic where they move in the store, where they're going to go to, how do we prioritize so that the well-heeled demographic might move in this particular way, and so we're going to put all those products over on this area. It's going to because there's much more of a science to that than I begin to understand.
Okay, and I don't think Wegmans has at all indicated that that's what's happening.
No.
They're saying this is really just about security and safety for shoppers
Right.
and for the stores.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be fair to them, I because we don't have Wegmans on the program today. So I want to read the full statement so everybody knows exactly what Wegmans is saying about this. Quote, at Wegmans, the safety of our customers and employees is a top priority. Like many retailers, we use cameras to help identify individuals who pose a risk to our people, customers, or operation. In a small fraction of our stores that exhibit an elevated risk, we have deployed cameras equipped with facial recognition technology. In New York City, we comply with local requirements by posting the mandated signage to notify customers about the technology. This technology is solely used for keeping our stores secure and safe. The system collects facial recognition data and only uses it to identify individuals who have been previously flagged for misconduct. We do not collect other biometric data, such as retinal scans or voice prints. Images and video are retained only as long as necessary for security purposes and then disposed of. For security reasons, we do not disclose the exact retention period, but it aligns with industry standards. Persons of interest are determined by our asset protection team based on incidents occurring on our property and on a case-by-case basis by information from law enforcement for criminal or missing persons cases. We do not share facial recognition scan data with any third party. We understand concerns about fairness and bias in facial recognition systems. We employ a multitude of training and safety measures to help keep people safe. Facial recognition technology serves as one investigative lead for us. We never base our decisions on a single lead alone. Our goal is simple: to keep our stores safe and secure. That's the full statement from Wegmans. So, again, nothing there about dynamic pricing or any other reason. It's all about safety and security. As far as we can tell here, I think unless local governments, for example, if the city of Rochester decided there was enough interest to try to do what New York City's doing, maybe they would change something. Although I don't know how much Wegmans has a footprint in the city of Rochester. Like nothing, right? I mean, like where's
East Ave?
I'm so thank you, Brian. East Ave. So they have a Wegmans here. So if municipalities follow New York City's lead, maybe. But otherwise, is this a done deal?
Yeah, and I think, again, it would go back to even – I don't know how you address the issue that Weissman brings up, which is storage, security, safeguarding. You can collect it with the best of intentions, but hackers seem to find a way if they can find a way into the U.S. government. Well, maybe that's not as secure as we would think, but yeah, they need to. I don't know how you legislate a level of security. Maybe you could, but I think that's almost as much of the concern as collecting it in the first place.
And again, my understanding from your reporting is that Mayor Malik Evans confirmed, after checking with the city's law department, that that they could do more legislatively, but they don't know how much interest there is either on council or in the community.
Right. It's surfaced. What Miguel Melendez had told me is that it had come up, it had been talked about, but and this was early on. I don't know how the rest of the week, if something's bubbling now. I haven't checked back with them to see at this point if they've heard more from constituents and decided, yeah, let's do that. Or to your point, is this really something that the state should take on or the county should take on, because whack-a-mole by town isn't all that effective.
Right. Lastly, let me just read a couple of emails here. David writes to us to say that he's concerned that biometrics data collected could facilitate the development of an extreme police state, something we need to be worried about right now. So that's a vote against this. Here's one that Brian Sharp's going to be very excited to answer because of all the expertise you have in biometrics and AI. Ready? Carly asks, retailers have declared 2026 the year of agentic commerce. How might facial recognition data inform AI-driven commerce?
That's a story for another day. I'm going to have to.
I was waiting for Brian to go. I award you 0 points, and may God have mercy on your soul. That's a very listen, Carly. It's actually a really good question.
Yeah.
And
no, I'm not making light of it anyway. It's an area that, I'm just beginning to understand.
And that is a conversation for another day. To be clear, Brian's actually right about that. I'm not being cheeky, but when Carly describes what the industry is saying, it's the year of agentic commerce. That's a term we got to get used to. Agentic means agent, means AI agent, which means you're going to be interacting with agents, which means you're interacting with AI anthropomorphized beings is the wrong word. I don't like to anthropomorphize. I don't like to say he, she. I don't like to give names. Like, this is Mark, your AI agent, who's helping you shop today.
Yeah.
Like, no, Mark is not a real thing. It's AI, but we are going to see more of that in commerce. So before I let you go, what are the next questions? I guess the questions are, how much more interest is there in pursuing this or pushing Wegmans on it?
Yeah, and I think, I went to the city and really then it goes to the county, which we haven't approached yet, to see if I know Rachel Barnhart, legislator Barnhart, has raised this, and it's just, is there support broadly across the legislature to act, or if this comes up at the state level, because this is a story, with Wegmans, but it's far more than them that has ricocheted around the state.
Legislator Barnhart put out a public letter to Wegmans asking for a meeting directly and laying out her concerns about the use of this kind of data and why she is concerned. And we'll see if that bears any fruit in terms of a meeting or anything else. So I know you'll be covering it. We'll talk to you again soon. Thank you for popping in here.
Thank you. Glad to have you back.
Brian Sharp, our colleague at WXXI News. We're going to take a very short break, and the team from City is coming in next.
Support for your public radio station comes from our members and from Mary Cariola Center, proud supporter of Connections with Evan Dawson, believing an informed and engaged community is a connected one. MaryCariola.org.
As public radio stations across the country navigate an uncertain funding future, it's time for you to become a sustaining member or increase your monthly contribution to your public radio station. Your support ensures the future of independent media in this community and beyond.
Support the programs you love and get more out of them with PBS Passport, an on-demand benefit for WXXI members. You'll open a gateway to national and local programs to watch on your schedule. Join us at WXXI.org/give.
This is Connections. I'm Evan Dawson, and we're going to close this week by talking about the Best of Rochester Awards, which were this past Saturday, and some of the folks behind the event are with us now. Let me go ahead and welcome Katie Epner, who's in studio with us, Director of Video Production for WXXI Public Media. Hello, hello.
Hello, Evan. Happy Friday.
Mike McGinnis, Customer Success Manager by day, MC and Ringmaster of Ceremonies Deluxe by night. Well, they loved the work you did there.
I do what I can, you know. I get up there and just throw out a few words, see what happens.
You get people excited.
I try to get them going. You want to get the people going.
You get people very excited. So great to have you here. And we're going to have Leah Stacy joining us in just a second, editor of City Magazine. We've got all kinds of candy in the set here. If you're watching on the WXXI News YouTube channel, you didn't bring these, Mike McGinnis.
I wish I did.
As much as you are the MC extraordinaire.
I'm about to. I know. I want to grab them all.
No, we're going to get to why we are strewn with candy here in the studio in just a second here. But first, a little recap of the event. There were about 400 attendees. It was packed there, wasn't it?
It was awesome. It was more than 400.
Great vibe?
Nearly 500. Great vibes. The energy was so high. And, you know, it really just, I think everybody left the event just really in love with Rochester.
136 awards given out. Were you tired?
It was a lot of awards. All very worthy awards. You would have thought that maybe I'd get tired, but there was literally right in the middle of it a burst of energy from the crowd, and I was like, oh, I guess we are going. I like that.
And there were live performances. There was a great comedy group there led by, they're called Thank You Kiss, and they're great, but producer Megan Mack says, well, you shouldn't talk about that. That's just fine. They were great. There was a dance group, a drag queen, social media influencers, games, and more. And Jake wore a costume of the city newsstand. He went as Boxy.
Whoa. You are breaking a serious code of the mascot law, Evan.
I couldn't.
Who was Boxy was there. Boxy is...
Oh, Boxy is Boxy. Jake is Jake. Boxy is Boxy.
I didn't see them in the same room together. Well,
that's a great point.
Never the two shall meet. A bunch of firsts for awards this year here. And so anything stand out to you, Mike McGinnis? Anything pop to you, Katie?
Oh, yeah. The one thing that I remember most was in the middle of announcing Actor of the Year, Best of Actor, Madison Zabawa. There's a big cheer, and I was like, yeah. But then all of a sudden, people were taking a bunch of photos, and I jumped in the background of the photos because I was just on stage and realized Madison was there, and they're getting fun. And I was like, hey. And so she got to get a bunch of live shots. It was fun. We started cheering for her. It was a great time.
And it was, hey, Leah Stacy, editor of City Magazine, joining us here as well here. To close the week here. I'm going through the current issue here, the Best of Rochester for City here. And big night in the Best of Drink category. Big night for Lux, Leah Stacy.
Yeah, they really campaign for themselves, though. I got to hand it to them. And we've heard that you may be asked if you are a fan of the bar and you come in to take a moment and vote, which, you know what, I respect. We tell people all the time, campaign for yourselves if you want to win, if you want to see yourself on there.
It's as democratic of a process as you'll ever find.
Right.
I mean, there's primaries, and then there's voting.
Yeah.
And the city staff has nothing to do with the winners. So really, I mean, if you're listening out there and you have a friend, you have a venue, an establishment that you want to see on the ballot, you got to do the work and primary the heck out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I love it.
Best bar to drink solo, Lux Lounge. Best bartender, Sim Sargent from Lux.
Yeah, did he take his shirt off at the awards?
Oh yeah,
It'd be weird
I
if he
think
didn't.
You're right.
Of course he did.
I think there's the one in the hype booth, our photo booth. They sent us the gallery, and I was going through, and I was like, "Huh, oh,
That's
cool."
Sim's signature. If you make it
I love
past
it.
2 a.m. at Lux, you're gonna see Sim's ballet.
Or if he wins best at Rochester.
Or if he wins best of.
Yeah.
Or if he wins best of. You kept your shirt on, I understand.
I got inspired, but I did keep my shirt on. I
Okay.
did.
You had to keep that bow tie on.
By the way, I just want to say in the best of drink category, best coffee shop, there could have been a dozen nominations.
There could have been 30.
There could have been 30. This has become such a good coffee community. And by the way, if you're watching on YouTube, you're seeing some great pictures. There's the bow tie for Mike.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Along with Berto and Leah and CEO Chris Hastings having a great time out at Anthology. It really was an awesome event. But Ugly Duck Coffee wins best coffee shop, but boy, it could have been so many. We are really a great coffee
and
community.
I think, without looking, I think Ugly Duck has won the last few years. And we have a couple winners like that where it's like 5+ years in a row that they've won now.
Yeesh.
And we're kind of noodling maybe a Hall of Fame. And you get moved to the Hall of Fame after so many years winning.
Wow.
Maybe it's 5+. I know I'm really shaking this up by dropping this right now.
I know.
And then we make room for some of the newer folks. I don't know.
Oh, I see what you're saying, like the legacies.
Yeah, we moved some of the legacy winners.
I don't know. I need to see Pizza Wizard just rubbing it in the face.
Well, they
of
haven't
everyone else.
won
There's
5 years in a row yet. But
look
they
at-
are so funny.
If you're watching on YouTube, look at we had Boxy in the previous picture.
Yeah.
Boxy is not.
Delano.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, I'm going to read some of the winners because if people haven't picked it up yet, I think they should know some.
Did
of
you
them.
all talk about Boxy though?
We did talk about.
Okay.
I was in trouble
Sorry that I'm
for,
late. We had some breaking news.
for outing Boxy's identity.
Yeah. Oh no, that's fine. We posted like a photo of him peeking out of the box on Instagram. So
Okay, controversial. There's Boxy.
Well, you
because
might-
Boxy might not always be the same.
There might be men in black
person.
suits knocking at your door
Yeah.
tonight because that is a serious breach of code of conduct.
I guess I didn't know either.
Is this on the radio? Is this live?
I don't know.
All right,
Are we
so
live?
we're going to do best of drink and best of food before we get to the game here.
Okay.
Everyone can play along with here. So we mentioned best bar to drink solo was Lux. Best barista, Mariah Quincy from Cafe Sasso. Best brewer, Ellen Gooch from Strange Bird. Best cidery, Blue Barn. Best cocktail bar, The Daily Refresher. And I really wanted to get to this one here. Best zero proof drink for the haters. What a great category. The Tangerine Dream at Radio Social. A zero proof cocktail. It looks awesome. Have you had it?
I have. It's really good. Sometimes I add spirits to it.
But if
It's
you,
that good. It's like that good of a base. But I also really like orange flavored things. And it's got this kind of like nuttiness from the oat milk. It's just really, it's a good drink.
It's got bright
Um,
colors, which is all I really look for in a drink.
Yeah, and I think Berto wrote that blurb, right? His wife, especially Lizzie, is a fan of that drink. So he was very skeptical, and she was like, no, you have to try this. And so he tried it a couple of weeks before we were putting this all together. And he was like, oh, that is something I never would have ordered, and it's so good.
and I'll read a few more here. Best craft brewery, Strange Bird. Best distillery, Rochester or Finger Lakes, Iron Smoke. Best dive bar, Lux.
Oh, I was like, who won? I can't remember. There's too many.
If you have to guess, it's probably Lux. Best juice bar, Just Juice for Life. Best LGBTQ bar, Roar. And on the list was Bachelor Forum.
And is the Avenue on there too?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they both announced in the process
Yeah.
of this happening. Yeah, and I think you're going to see Flora on that list next year. Because that also opened kind of while we were in process of doing this, and I've heard really great things.
Man. Best Italian restaurant, Fiorella. Best late night eats, Angry Goat. Anybody been to Angry Goat here?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have
For
not.
sure.
That's
Their
Yeah.
veggie garbage plate is amazing.
All right.
I've never had anything bad there. I also remember getting like a PB&J during like the post-pandemic when you had to get like the $1 menu item with your drink. Remember that?
Yeah, that's right. Gotta get
And it
some
was
food with it.
giant. It was like this big.
Best Mediterranean, Aladdin's Natural Eatery. Best Mexican restaurant, Nino's, but it's
Nano's.
Nano's, yeah. Best new restaurant, Patron Saint. That was on the list with Redwood, Shell, and Carmela's. Interesting.
Yeah.
Best outdoor dining, the Owl House. Probably not this time of year. Best pizza from Pizza Wizard. So that's just a little selection.
I remember a couple of years ago. This is before your time, Leah. I think like Mark's Pizzeria won best pizza.
Oh, yeah. And then there was a conversation about that because they were stuffing the ballot. I know, and I'm blasting them online by saying that. But we
yeah.
switched platforms and we started tracking IP addresses, and so we could tell when people were stuffing the ballot, and we started disqualifying people who were stuffing the ballot.
Oh, this is the info we want.
Wow.
I can't. Yeah.
This is really getting
I can't even say on
I
the
don't think
record.
that's going to really hurt Marks much.
It's on the record. We would have that conversation with them ourselves.
I haven't been to Shell, by the way, either.
Oh, really?
There's one. So
Yeah. Berto and I went during Fringe to check it out. I know. Had a really good cocktail. Had a couple of really good bites. Have you gone?
No, I haven't been there, but it's such a cool spot.
It is a cool spot. It's a spot that intimidates some people, I think, but they do have a large parking lot.
Well, it's all here in the best of Rochester. 136 winners.
Yeah.
136. All of them.
Plus, how many blurbs are written by
Ooh,
the reporters and the freelancers? Because that's really like,
30-something.
this is my favorite issue of the year because obviously all 136 winners are listed, but there's also really fun blurbs of like, how would you describe it? It's like a fun little superlative issue where, we write funny things like, I'm looking at Roberto again, best bar stool for a yap session.
Yeah.
Shell restaurant. And you know what? Looking at the photos, that would be very comfortable.
They're comfortable.
Stool to yap in.
Yeah.
So there's just fun things like that. I remember, a couple of years ago, it was like most gratifying trip to the bathroom, and it was like for the
Abby.
Acme bathroom.
Yeah, that was.
It was like
What's
you were
going on in
into
that
an
bathroom?
actual
Well, it's kind
dungeon.
of it was like a treacherous little ride down, right? And then it had. Wasn't there like graffiti all over the walls and like a great mirror, and you could just like if you did a selfie in there, it was like people know where you are and R.I.P. Acme.
Yeah, it really is like this issue is the best way to find like the hidden gems of Orlando City, like in different varying degrees of humor. It's good stuff.
Really
Yeah.
good. Yeah. You've been in that bathroom, by the way?
I don't know if I've been to other very treacherous downstairs bathrooms before, but not that one.
I wonder if they
R.I.P.
kept it the same.
So that issue is out now, and not only do you get the winners, but the whole category there. So you see a lot of cool things there. I want to say also about the event and anthology, that to Katie's point about getting nearly 500 people, for all the cynicism that people have about everything going on in the world, that's a night that you feel like there's a lot of special stuff happening. Like we're in a special place, and City Magazine reminds you of that. I mean, kudos to everybody.
Totally.
Really,
and
really.
I love being involved in City and going to these events more and more. You see your regular cast of characters, but you also start to notice the people who are joining that regular cast of characters. Like Rochester, we're so lucky to be as small as we are, where a lot of people would say that's a drawback, but I love it. I love going out and seeing a familiar face pretty much anywhere I go. And I mean, that was Anthology Saturday night. Just so many familiar faces, and then faces that I realize I'm seeing more of around. And it's not like it's hard to introduce yourself and make a new acquaintance.
Make you a little proud of our city here, Mike?
Oh, 100%. I work remotely, and everybody knows that I live in Rochester. And I've worked with people from all over the world. They're like, oh, Rochester, New York. And they say, we feel like something's always happening in Rochester. What is going on over there? And I try to be involved. But so for us to have this awards and for me to be able to tell the whole company about this sort of thing, it's exciting for me. And it stirs up a little scuttlebutt about Rochester. I like that.
I like that too. So, what's the game that you've got for us, Katie Epner?
So we're trying to syndicate. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's see how this goes
on the radio.
first.
So Mike and I. So yes, the whole show, the whole Best of Award ceremony was like a variety show, which was Leah's pilot this year, which was awesome. So yeah, we had step crew, drag queen, comedy troupe, and Mike and I wanted to do an interactive game. So we had a bunch of people come to the center of the dance floor, and we said, we're going to list off 10 things you've done in Rochester. And if you have not done this thing, leave the circle.
Get out of there.
And the whole thing was we were going to find the best fan of Rochester.
Oh.
Right? Okay, so I've got our list here, and
I also got to
increasing.
shout out the origin of that game. Mike and I built that sort of from Never Have I Ever for a Fringe show that we did 6 years ago.
I was going to say, this is going back.
And when we were working on the script, he's like, oh, we should pull that thing we did. And you guys crushed it. It was so much fun.
It was fun. Yeah.
Okay, so what are we going to do?
Okay,
here?
all right, here we go. So I want to say in the game we had probably 100 people and narrowed it down to a final 4.
Yep.
And we had to do a tiebreaker, which we're going to do the tiebreaker here too because it was really fun. Okay,
We're
first
just
one.
chucking candy. Hold on, let me get
right.
this candy.
Yeah, do I need a pile?
You get a piece of candy for every place you've been?
You're going to get a piece of candy for everything you've done. Yes.
For everything you've done.
Yep.
So I just want the Kit Kats. Nobody wants those.
Kit
Reese's.
Kats?
Okay. I'm actually going to throw them at you.
I'm ready.
You can throw it.
Okay, here we go. Let's start. Evan, have you been to a First Friday?
Yeah.
Good job. Incoming.
Multiple. How many do I get here? Just one for that? Yeah.
One for that.
Have you been to Turning Point Park?
Oh, I like yesterday almost. I mean, I would live
And
there.
listeners, please
Ooh,
play
2 for
along.
2.
I'm
It's
throwing
like my
candy
running
at you
track.
too. And if you've done all these things, congratulations. You're a great fan of Rochester. All right, here we go. Number 3. Have you had a rooftop beer or beverage at the brew house?
Oh, the Genesee Brew House? Oh, of course.
Oh, Mike, that's you.
Tossin'. There you go.
This one I'm excited to hear about. Have you been down in the Rochester subway?
No.
Oh.
And that's a big one on my list of some things I really want to see.
This
Never done
one-
it. Never done it.
This goes to me. That one.
Mike gets that one. Yeah,
goes
that
to
should
me
have been
right
mine.
there.
I've been down
Wanna
there.
take the next couple, Mike?
You've been down there.
Oh yeah,
And?
it's cool.
It's awesome.
This is
Yeah,
for you. There you go, Leah.
I gotta say, I was down there like a couple St. I feel it was almost always after the St. Patty's Day parade. Like we'd wander down there in our green and just like walk around.
How do we get here?
All right, so
Yeah,
this is
exactly.
going to be mildly embarrassing, but I'm just going to say, every time the Subway thing comes up, somebody says, does that mean we had like a real Subway in the city? and I was like, I'm always like, I have no idea. I mean, like,
What? No, but
yes,
you
I think
do
so.
know.
I mean, like,
Oh, the face is
It
in
wasn't
here
a
right now.
real subway. It wasn't a real subway. It like was the subway that ran like down what is now 490, and it just went under downtown for ease of.
But it came from Maplewood, right? Like it went out that far.
Not underground. No, it came up
Okay.
at Broad Street.
Oh, so you're saying like a real subway is only underground?
It was like almost a mile. Like
some historian is about to send me a long email disappointed.
Yeah.
Rochester subway, right?
Rochester Subway. All right.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
an episode in and of itself.
It is. It's
Oh,
going
for
to be.
sure.
Okay, next one. Have you been to Shakespeare in the Bowl?
Shakespeare in the Bowl. Oh, no, I haven't been. The Highland Bowl.
Ooh, the
I
Highland
haven't.
Bowl.
if you are ever driving past and you see it, just get out of your car and go. That's
should-
how I've
It is
seen
so fun.
I should lie. This is a hard one for me to admit that I haven't because I should lie. But
There's
I'm
also
not gonna lie.
poetry in the bowl now too, which is really delightful. In June, Writers and Books does
Oh my
that.
goodness, yeah. When it's
Lovely.
night,
That-
just get over
We
that.
need
It's
to
so
use that
great.
thing more. It drives me
We
nuts that
do.
it's just sitting there empty most of the year.
No.
Hey, before you go to the next one, producer Megan Mack jumped right in here. Saturday, February 7th, 7 p.m. on WXXI, on WXXI TV. The End of the Line, Rochester Subway 2.0.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Award-winning
Nice.
documentary originally produced in 1994 tells the little-known story of the rail line that operated in a former section of the Erie Canal from 1927 until its abandonment in 1956.
We produced that. That's playing at the transportation.
Well,
Museum.
1994, we were kind of young. Yeah.
I don't think you produced it.
Wow.
Well, XXI.
We should all go.
Yeah.
That would be a fun field
That's
trip.
probably on Passport, people.
That's a pros pro, Megan.
That screening, by the way, is at the Little at that date and time. So Saturday, February 7th, 7 p.m. at the Little, and it'll be on the air later at a later date. So there you
Nice.
go.
Thanks, Megan.
There you go. Okay, next one.
That's incredible.
We-
I'm impressed.
Oh my God, we got 2.5 minutes. We got to get really moving here.
Here we go. Next one. Sledding at Ellison.
At Ellison, I've sledded in so many places.
know, yeah, there's a lot of
Yes,
places.
for sure I have. My son was 6.
Coming to you.
Yes, we have.
There it is. Sledding at Ellison. Check. And the next one. Toured Susan B. Anthony House.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. Have you done a landmark?
Again, a long time ago, but yeah.
Have you done a Landmark Society architectural tour in any of the city's vast neighborhoods?
No comment.
That one
No.
is awesome. Highly recommend. Have you bought peanuts from Conehead?
No.
Me neither. It's
You're
on
not
our
getting
list.
a Kit Kat.
My-
All right, this is
on
the
our
big one.
list.
This
We'll
is
be
the big
there.
one. Have you ever done a cheeseburger shot at Lux?
Ooh.
The best dive bar.
No. And there's
Oh.
probably not any amount of money that can convince
Oh
me.
no
to-
no, it's
Oh, I don't
okay. This
believe
one's
that.
on me.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, good.
Okay, and real quick, this is our tiebreaker. Evan, how many people are buried at Mount Hope Cemetery?
Whoa.
Price is Right style.
How many people?
Closest without going over.
Holy cow, it's so big.
Everyone have a
100,000.
Oh, that's cute. Over 350,000.
What? Oh, 350,000 is not that far away from 100,000. It's not like it was 3 million.
Triple.
Okay.
Yeah, no, good job. You were in the
350,000.
right amount of
I was in
digits.
the right amount of digits.
Yes.
350,000.
We had guesses for our 4 finalists. One said 16,000, another said like 750,000, but the two in the middle were pretty close.
All
And
right.
great job, Josiah, with Have Hope Tattoo. He is our best fan of Rochester.
Josiah, nice work.
And before we lose the hour, let me just say that was no shade deluxe. I would try a cheeseburger shot. It just sounds like it might be gastrointestinally challenging.
You'll get really drunk.
How do you feel
That's
about
what I'm
pickles?
gonna
Oh, God. Oh, boy. What's that?
How do you feel about pickles?
Pickles. I like pickles.
No, you'd be fine.
Okay.
They're great.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. Leah, any big surprises before we lose the hour here? Any big surprises in your best stuff here?
No, there weren't really any upsets. I just want to add that we're really appreciative to the almost 500 people who came out and supported this new sort of form, because it's the first time we've ticketed, and that was really big, and we have to keep finding ways to power city and fund city, and this is one of them, and we just really appreciate everyone who rallied behind that night.
Well said. Mike, everyone loved your work. Thanks for popping in here.
Hey, thanks for having me. Always a pleasure. Let's throw some more candy.
He's on the mic again.
Throwing candy is great. Katie, I know you're such a big creative mind. I'm sure you had a blast there. Thanks for popping in here.
I was
Thank you.
honored to be asked.
Thank you very much. And from all of us at Connections, thanks for wrapping up this week with us. As we said earlier this hour, this team at WXXI News and City, we cover everything. From the light to the very heavy and everything in between, and we're glad that you are along with us. We will talk to you next week.
This program is a production of WXXI Public Radio. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of this station, its staff, management, or underwriters. The broadcast is meant for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or use in another medium without expressed written consent of WXXI is strictly prohibited. Connections with Evan Dawson is available as a podcast. Just click on the Connections link at WXXInews.org.